All right, here we go again. Angle, angle, sides. We have yet another one that we can choose from when it comes to seeing if triangles are congruent. So here's angle, angle, side. And again, it kind of goes in order. Angle, angle, you notice the S is not between the two A's, which means it's different than angle, side, angle. Because if you think about this, in a triangle, there's your angle, and your side is right between. This one's different. Angle, angle, side would be angle, angle, side. The side does not need to be included. So if two angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding angles and non-included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay, so non-included side, if we look at this picture here, we have, here's an angle, here's another angle, and if we were to mark those separately, those would have to be congruent over there. We're not talking about this side because this side was the included side. If that was congruent, we would have angle, side, angle. We're talking about either that side or that side. Okay, it doesn't have to be both, but just one of them. Okay, so first example, we are going to determine if the triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. If so, list the sets of congruent angles. Okay, so again, I'm going to give these names A, B, C, D, E, F. And yes, I named those specifically so that A, B, C went in order and D, E, F went in order from the 1, 2, and then the non-marked angle. So I have an angle congruent to another angle. I can say that angle A is congruent to angle D. Okay, so far so good. I can also say that angle B is congruent to angle E. And I know that because there's two arcs here and it matches with the two arcs over here. So there's angle, angle. Now, we cannot be talking about the side that connects those two angles. We have to be talking about a different one. This one goes from the two arc angle to the one with no mark. This one goes from the two arc to the no mark. So we do have a side here that says, let's see, side BC is congruent to, I need to write it in order, E has to be where the B is, and then F would be there. So we do have congruent triangles based on angle, angle, side. Okay. All right, what about here? Let me give some letters, A, B, C, D. And I have angles congruent. Angle A is congruent to angle D. There's my angle. Let's see if I have another angle and another side. Another angle, I'm going to say ABC. And again, I can't just say angle B because there's actually two angles there, so I have to be clear about which angle I'm saying. The reason why I could just say angle A here was there was really only one angle to talk about, so there wasn't any confusion there. So angle ABC is going to be congruent to, well, let's see. A came first, so D has to come first here. DCB. So there's my angle, angle. Now, the included side would be right here and right here. We're not talking about that included side because we're talking about the side that they share. That's the congruency we're looking at. So the side there, I could say side BC. And if I'm talking about this triangle right here, I'm going from the two arcs angle to the no arcs. So if I go on this side, it'd be from the two arcs to the no arcs. So that would be CB. And those are congruent because of the reflexive property. They're the same side or the same segment, so it has to be congruent to itself. So yes, I have angle, angle, side. Okay. All right, looking here again, they share a side. I always like to mark it so that I know that it's congruent to itself. Now, one thing I can tell really quickly is I have an angle marked I have a side that's congruent, and I have another side. So again, I have angle, angle side. I don't want to make that abbreviation. Can I get angle, angle side? Well, do I know anything about this angle? I don't. I don't know anything about this angle either. So there's no way that I can say they're congruent by angle, angle side, because I don't know about two angles. I only know about one angle. So I'm going to say no. Again, that doesn't mean that they're not congruent. It just means that I cannot use angle, angle side to say that they are congruent. Okay? All right, last one over here before we get to the second page. I have a set of vertical angles, so I'm going to go ahead and mark those congruent. I have angle, angle side, angle, angle side. Okay, this looks promising. Let's go ahead and name our oops, can't call both of those points B. A, B, C, D, E. Sorry about that. Let's call that C. So if I'm doing angle, angle, side, I'm going to start off with angle A. So angle A is congruent to which angle over here? The other one that has the matching one arc, that would be angle E. The next angle, I'm going to do my vertical angle. So I'm going to call this one angle ACB is congruent to angle ECD. Again, watch that order. A and E have to both be first or both be last, doesn't matter. C has to be in the middle on both of those. And then the side, notice the side is not the included side. I'm going to call the side, I'm going to name it from the 2 arc end over to the one that doesn't have anything. So CB is congruent to, again, the 2 arc end over to the one that doesn't have anything. CD, there's my angle, angle side. So yes, these two triangles are congruent due to angle, angle side. Okay. As a little challenge, I would challenge you to pause the video and go to the back side and try those on your own before you see the video showing how to do them, so that you can see if you really do understand what you're doing. Again, back here, we're trying to use SSS, SAS, ASA, and AAS. Those 4 options to determine if our triangles are congruent. See if you have something that fits in those. So again, pause the video, try them on your own, and then come back and we'll see if you got them right. All right, let's see how you did. So first thing I'm going to do in number 5 is I'm going to write down or mark anything that's not marked. And I do have a set of vertical angles, so I can go ahead and mark those. And it looks like I have angle, angle, and a side that is included because it's connecting those angles. And angle, angle, and another side that's connecting those angles because it's between. So I think I have angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. And let's put some letters in here, A, B, C, D, E, and come up with our angle statement, our side statement, and our angle statement. So our angle statement, I'm going to start off with angle B. Angle B is congruent to, its corresponding angle over here would be angle E. Then side, I'm going to do BC. That's again from the 1 arc end to the 2 arc end. So if I do the corresponding one here, it would be from the 1 arc end E to the 2 arc end. So that's EC. Those two are congruent. And then now I have to do my vertical angles. Again, use 3 letters because there's a lot of angles right here at C. So we want to be specific. So I'm going to say angle ACB is congruent to angle DCE. So yes, those two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. And there's my justification by stating the 3 congruences that exist. Okay. All right. This one almost looks like a Star Trek logo or something like that. All right. So we have 2 triangles that share a side. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that shared side because obviously that segment is not changing in length from whether you're counting it part of this triangle or part of this triangle. I don't see anything marked about angles at all. I also do not see any vertical angles, so I can't use anything that has an A in it. So if I look here, I'm going to eliminate those three. I think what we have going on is side, side, sides. That's what I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to put some letters in here, A, B, C, D. And I'm going to start off, let's see if we can find side, side, side. So AC, what would that be congruent to? Can I do it the same way? Well, if part of this one, it goes from the 2 to the 3. This would also be from the 2 to the 3 if I did AC. Looks like it's in the same part there. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to try the one with 2 little tick marks right there. So I'm going to say AB is congruent to, again, starting with the intersection of the 2 and 1. So it would be AD. And then here, I'm going to say CB from the 1 tick to the 2 tick end, and that would be CD. Make sure you got all your markings in there. And yes, I have side, side, side. Okay. All right, 2 more here. Let's see what we've got. Anything that we have that's not marked, well, they're sharing a side, so I'm going to mark it using 2 tick marks this time because I don't want to get it confused with these sides being congruent also. So it looks like I have SAS, 2 sides in the included angle, 2 sides in the included angle. So let's see, side, angle, side. Let's try and get these. Let's put some numbers or letters in there, A, B, C, D. So I'm going to say AC is congruent, or segment AC is congruent to segment DC. Again, starting out there and coming into the one that has the single arc on it. The other side, well, let's do the angle first. I'm going to say angle ACB is congruent to angle DCB. And then finally, CB is congruent to CB. There's my statement. So yes, we have SAS. Okay. So we've used ASA, we've used SSS, we've used SAS. Yes, we can use one more than once if we need to. I don't think we're going to need to here though. I have a side, a side over here. I have an angle, and a side that's not included. An angle, and a side that's not included. I think I have angle, and a side. Notice the side is not between the 2 angles. It's after. So I think that's what we've got going on. I'm going to say A, B, C, and then D, E, F. So let's say angle A is congruent to angle D. That was easy. Angle B is congruent to angle E. That's easy also. And then finally the side BC is congruent to, see, starting at the 2 arc side and going over there, EF. So yep, this is congruent. I have angle, side to prove that they are congruent. Now once we have them proved that they're congruent, you can then go on and say, okay, if those are congruent, then I know this is going to be the same length as this. And this side is going to be the same length as this side. If you know that they're congruent, then you know that all the parts of them are going to be congruent. And you'll get more into that later. All right? Happy studying.